In the previous videos in this series, I have talked about the army elements, reconnaissance and all other battle preparations. In this video, I would like to tell you how the actual combat is played out. Mass combat in GURPS is quite a complicated process, even though it is abstract, and the book suffers from some things being hard to find or ambiguous. But anyway, battles are conducted in a series of battle rounds. The period of time that a single round encompasses depends on the number of elements involved in the battle. Sometimes, when armies are huge, battles can be so long that they can become night and your combat capabilities might change. But for relatively small-scale warfare, this usually does not matter that much. Each battle round contains 6 steps. Step 1. Risk. At the start of each battle round, each force commander and any individual player character involved in the battle must choose a risk modifier between -3 and +3. The lower the modifier, the fewer risks that person is taking relative to his position in the battle. This affects things such as heroic actions and chance of injury or death. Step 2. Significant actions. Each round, any player character who accompanies the fighting or logistic force and who isn't the force commander may try to perform a significant action. This is called a heroism roll. Roll 3d against the base target number of 5. The base number is modified by the player character's risk modifier, by the player character in question having useful skills at high levels, and some other circumstances. If the PC succeeds, it means that his significant action influences the entire battle. This gives +1 or +2 on a critical success to the commander's strategy roll this round. Failure means that there's no effect on the battle. Critical failure, however, means a heroic blunder that imposes a -1 penalty to the strategy roll. This is a perfect place for you to switch from the mass combat rules and instead play out a small-scale encounter using the normal rules. This could be a heroic combat of the PC against an enemy champion, an attempt to assassinate siege engine operators or commanders, protecting an important person, or anything else you could imagine. If you want more ideas, you can take a look at the Heroes of Battle for D&D 3.5. That book has many examples of such encounters. This will make the PCs feel important in the battle, and also will give them something to do, because there is only one commander in the army. Step 3. Choose battle strategy. This step is the biggest one. This is where the commander selects one battle strategy. Battle strategies are similar to maneuvers in normal combat, but there is one significant change. A strategy is chosen in secret, and, depending on your intelligence and reconnaissance, you may not know the capabilities of the enemy fully. While a strategy is chosen by the commander, he can consult his advisors. Your PCs can be the advisors. Remember I told you in the previous video that there are 2 types of battle: pitched battle and encounter battle. This is where it comes into play, as different degrees of reconnaissance success limit your options or your opponent's options in different ways. There are 4 attack strategies. Attack. There are no special modifiers here. This is the default maneuver. All-out attack. You get a bonus to strategy and inflict more casualties, but any casualties inflicted to your force are doubled. Deliberate attack. This maneuver can only be used in pitched battles and sieges, and is never available if your force started the battle confused. You get a minor bonus to strategy, plus an additional bonus if you have artillery superiority, and the enemy has his defense bonus halved. Indirect attack. You get a penalty to strategy, but if you win, your margin of victory is doubled. There are 6 defense strategies. Defense. This is the basic defense option. You get +1 to strategy, but cannot gain any position bonus. What is position bonus, you might ask? I will explain it to you in step 4. All-out defense. You get an even bigger bonus to strategy, reduce position bonus loss, but take double casualties. Deliberate defense. This option is forbidden in encounter battles, or for a side that starts the battle confused. In a pitched battle, it is allowed only on the first round, and only to a force that has a defense bonus. You get a strategy bonus and inflict more casualties on the attacker, but cannot gain position bonus and lose initiative. Mobile defense. If you have cavalry or naval superiority, then you get a strategy bonus. If you lose or tie, then the enemy gets an extra position bonus increase, but you take fewer casualties. Parley. This is an attempt to negotiate a pause in the battle to talk. If your attempt is refused, this is treated as a defense strategy, with an extra -1 penalty to strategy. Rally. This strategy is only available when your force is confused due to surprise or ambush. You have -2 to strategy, and if you survive the round, you may attempt a leadership -2 roll at the end of the round. If you succeed, your force is no longer confused. If things get hairy for you, there are 2 retreat strategies. Fighting retreat. You get +3 to strategy, and if you win or tie the round, your force escapes. If you lose, the enemy gains an extra position bonus increase, and any casualties also apply to your logistic force. In any case, the attacker's casualties are halved. Full retreat. You get +8 to strategy and take fewer casualties, but all casualties also apply to your logistic force, and you inflict no casualties. There are also 2 other strategies, Raid and Skirmish. Raid. Your class superiority bonuses are increased, and you may inflict casualties to the logistic force instead of the fighting force. You may not gain position bonus, but you can reduce position bonus of the enemy. Skirmish. You get a strategy bonus and an additional bonus if you have air, artillery or fire superiority. If you win, you do not gain position bonus, and the margin of victory is halved, but you suffer fewer casualties. There are some special cases that may arise when different strategies interact. If one commander chooses deliberate attack, deliberate defense or parley, he gives up the initiative, and the opposing commander can change his choice of the strategy. If both commanders picked a defensive strategy other than parley, then change both strategies to skirmish. If both commanders picked a retreat strategy, or if one chose to retreat while the other chose a defensive strategy, then no battle occurs. There is also the desperate strategy option that can be used with different strategies when your force has suffered significantly more casualties than the enemy. This strategy greatly increases your strategy bonus, but you take automatic casualties. Step 4. Battle Strategy Roll. Now that both of the commanders have chosen their strategies, it is time to add up all the modifiers. The modifiers are the basic strategy modifier, defense bonus if the commander chose a defensive strategy, risk modifier of the commander, significant actions, modifiers from the chosen strategy, position bonus, and any special circumstantial modifiers that the GM deems necessary. When all this is done, roll a quick contest of strategy. Consult the combat results table on page 36 of GURPS Mass Combat to see the effects of your margin of victory. The effects are your casualties, enemy casualties, and the winner's position bonus shift. Position bonus represents the degree of control of the battlefield, and is added to the strategy skill as I mentioned before. Unlike most other modifiers, position bonus usually changes between battle rounds, and only one side has a position bonus. Step 5. Misfortunes of War. At the end of every round, the GM makes a Misfortunes of War roll for each force commander, player character, and significant NPC involved in the battle to see if they were injured. The base target number of the roll ranges from 5 to 9 and depends on the percentage of casualties taken in this round. This number is then modified by the risk factor of the person in question and some other parameters. Unlike most other rolls, the positive effect occurs if you fail the roll, not the other way around. If you succeed on the Misfortunes of War roll, you take 2d-1 HP of injury, not damage. A critical success means that the person either surrenders or takes 6d HP of injury. There are also some additional rules for switching commanders and preventing confusion. Step 6. Victory. This step occurs only in two situations. Either one of the forces reached 100% casualties, or one force retreated while the other did not. If one of the forces retreats, the other may either hold the line or pursue the fleeing troops to deal additional casualties. After that is decided, the winning side recovers half of the casualties, while the losing side does not recover anything. By default, casualties apply evenly to all elements, but the GM may dictate which elements have been destroyed and which ones have survived, or roll randomly. And that's it. That's most of the mass combat rules. GURPS Mass Combat has some additional rules for looting the battlefield, playing out sieges, amphibious assaults, naval battles, WMDs, etc., but I will not cover them here. However, I have at least one more video planned in this series about various extensions for the mass combat system from other sources, so stay tuned for that. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.